Okay. Okay. Alright. My god, that was painful to set up. I downloaded a mod set last night, and half the damn mods got corrupted last night.
That is then something that I would need to prevent with gameplay measures. So far I haven't done that. Because a hunter team could easily be behind enemy lines, then the commander yells, oh, we need support near our home base, and you could teleport back there. Please don't do that. And if you are ready, then just rally between the two flags to discuss with the other team if you need anything else. And if everyone agrees, we would teleport to the bases afterwards.
How does the drone spawn?
Backpacks in these sensor trucks. There are 2 drone backpacks.
I noticed that we already have some of the substantive, basically ground drones. Are we
yeah, it's stompers. You have 3 stompers.
Okay, yeah.
We can use them freely once the game on is called.
Yeah.
But we can take that.
I got it set. We're good.
Okay,
Just the repo kept corrupting a few things, but if you download it enough times, eventually it'll fix it. I just have really bad luck with Arma 3 sync for some reason.
Yeah, you missed the basic introduction to the game mode. If you want, we can do that in a little interview session later on, but yeah, let's see.
Yeah, let's just get this started. I have a good idea of what's gonna happen, so
Okay.
it's all good.
Alright. As soon as you see someone is shooting at supply containers, then it's fine for you to make them editable on your map in Zeus. That if anyone sees that on stream, it's not a disclosure of the position, because if anyone is already shooting there, it has been disclosed. But don't do anything else.
Yeah, no, I'll just be focusing on the players rather than the actual objectives, because I don't want anything to bleed through just in case.
Okay.
You closed the hose, right?
Do the commanders need any time with each others, or shall we just teleport to
It wasn't last time, so I'm just making sure.
Side space and then wait for 3 times game on?
Yeah, it's all set.
Alpha has one suggestion for a gentleman's rule.
Benji?
Don't steal the... You can't use the enemy's artillery pieces. Just like, so if you're all beside the kill team, you can't just blast the guys, shoot off all their rounds, and then drive on.
Let's not do that. That doesn't sound fun.
Yeah, but killing with hand grenades should be fine, right?
Oh, yeah, killing each other is fine. Yeah. It's more like...
Don't steal each other's artillery.
Yeah, don't steal the howitzer and drive off with it, or fire it at someone.
What about other vehicles?
Shall we say... What do you think, Blue? You can take... Should we just go no vehicles at all?
I can tell from the metagame perspective, once you're able to steal a vehicle, it doesn't drive anymore.
Let's just make it simple then, that we don't touch. Yeah, we don't touch each other's items. Yeah, you stick to your side's vehicles.
Okay. Complete also with the radios? Enemy
radios? I prevented with a script, and you get a little "you're not a nice guy" message showing up. Same with UAV terminals, because it could really spoil it.
We'll also notice that the Germans have a anti-radio stealing technology that many of us won't be able to beat.
Yeah, so basically just use your faction's gear. You can pick up hand grenades and medical supplies, but don't be stealing their, their armor pieces and their helmets and all that. Just like use your faction's gear.
Yep, sounds good.
Anything else? If not, you could deploy to your bases. Please, the leaders of either side, tell me once you're ready, and if both sides told me they're ready, I will post 3 times game on, and then you're allowed to move the vehicles out there. If you move anything out there, particularly drones before that, I will just end key them and then they're gone.
Gotcha.
Okay, good luck, have fun.
Right, you too.
Thank you.
Okay,
I was gonna say, glad you made it.
The quick.
Yeah, good luck. I think that was Roar.
Do you need anything else?
Yeah, if you wanna give me that one breakdown just for the sake of the chat, feel free. But it's very simple.
Guess, Liru, maybe go on the map and show what's going on.
Yeah, I'm on the map. I'm assuming all the question marks are potential positions, but how many How many depots are there total?
Yeah, so 5 out of 20 positions will actually have the supply containers there. Those containers are ace rearm stations in case that it's ever needed. And the blue areas on the map that are marked don't show here is like a safe zone that isn't meant to be shot at, but also you shouldn't shoot from within the zone. Yeah, first stage is really finding your actual targets. It's meant to be a small-scale simulation of how modern combined arms warfare works, that you have the commander that gets the situation picture. What you won't see on stream is how the direction finder bearing results look like. There's a video linked in the GitHub repo that points to YouTube. And that is something that you won't be seeing. It's not activated for you. Yeah, and once the stations are identified, people usually then deploy their artillery pieces, shoot at it. That makes them show up on the situation picture of the commander, which in turn will lead to the commander usually sending a hunter-killer team to that rough location. And if they're in the rough vicinity, for the large artillery piece, you hear them from where they shoot. They most likely then do sound direction finding with their own ears. There are also mortar pieces that have higher rate of fire, lower range, higher precision, no laser guided shells, and no armor truck with them.
Alright.
They are mostly used for sneaky tactics. So an enemy commander using that behind enemy lines for counter-battery fire. And yeah, so that's the basic game mode.
Alright.
3 different roles, not being able to achieve anything purely on their own. They're really tied together. That's the basic idea.
So again, it's the artillery teams, the hunter-killer teams, and the commander?
Artillery, reconnaissance, hunter-killer, and the commander is just a leader. Which also has the same abilities like a sensor guy that sees the bearing lines popping up on the map, and he has a UAV terminal.
Alright. I'm assuming the purple line is a line that artillery teams can't cross?
Either side can cross into every territory they want. That was just when I built the mission, I divided the island into 2 sections. Then I pressed the Control-R random key to come up with the random positions. Then I moved it to the closest settlement that I could find to the random position. So that was just a construction helping line.
Alright.
That is a small indication that you're now entering potentially hostile territory.
Gotcha. Alright, thanks so much, man. I'm gonna get in the Zeus interface. Thanks so much again for the invite.
If something pops up that you need, just you can also Zeus ping me and we can do this right in the game. But a player has a preference over you if that is fine with you.
Gotcha.
Okay, doc.
Thanks so much, man.
And make yourself invisible, please.
Oh, I will. First thing. Do 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 do. Alright. This is gonna be a real treat today. This is a game mode that I have wanted to do something similar to, or with, for years. My father wrote up a script for something very, very similar to this. And this was back in like 2019 or something. And now, what, back 2023, 4 years later, we're finally going to be able to see it run.
Sit on top of Comms Alpha, basically, so I can talk to everyone all the time.
So we're going to see both NATO and CSAT fighting against each other. There's also some drones, some Vics over here. These are the artillery wagons, and then we've got the scout Vics for the hunter-killer teams. That's on Op 4 side. Blue 4 side is something similar here. They've also got mortar teams to work with as well on the smaller Vics. But let me break down how this game mode's going to work, because I spoke to Bernard in lingo, but to break down how this map works is as follows. So both sides have a base. You can't hit the base with artillery, but from there are 3 different types of teams and then a 4th role that are tied to each side. So first, your artillery teams. These guys are going to be towing around these big field guns and are basically going to be deploying anywhere to try to basically utilize that artillery to then hit up to 5 different enemy ammo caches or depots. Both sides know where those depots are, but they don't know where their enemies are. That is going to be reliant on the second type of team, which is the reconnaissance team. They're going to basically go around these positions and try to find these ammo depots, which, by the way, the artillery teams can use those ammo depots to resupply as well, if I understood Bernard correctly there. But it's basically you're scouting out, trying to find the these depots, and then destroy them with your artillery. Then there's a third type of team, a hunter-killer team, and that's tied to the 4th role, which is the commander. So the commander has access to basically a version of artillery radar. So he'll be able to access something that'll let him see the map. And then that'll, if there's artillery going off, he'll be able to track those artillery shots in real time. And then he'll task a hunter-killer team to go to where the artillery position is. And basically they're trying to destroy the artillery team, because I'm pretty sure both sides only have a limited amount of assets and whatnot. So it's basically just a matter of, can you destroy all of your opponent's artillery teams? Can you destroy all of your opponent's artillery depots? Can you basically nullify them from completing their objectives? Can you do a better job than them?
Nope.
So Blue 4, I think, are mainly German speakers. Op 4 is mainly English speakers. So I'll be sticking around a bit more with Op 4 because I can understand them a bit better. But it's basically a NATO versus CSAT. And I believe that was worse, but that might have been a mispin. But this is all being hosted in the Gruppe Adler community, which most of you will probably know them in passing, because a lot of communities I know run their trench mod, which gives you all the advanced trenches to dig. So this is just a taste of their PvP. But otherwise, we'll see both of these guys deploy. I'm not going to put my camera necessarily over any of these positions because I don't want to showcase if they find them. I'm really just going to be following the recon teams around. But again, this is a massive map, a massive AO. The PvP is going to really come in from when the artillery teams start firing at each other and when the hunter-killer teams are deployed. So this is going to be a very interesting, a bit of a slow game, mind you. I'm only going to be able to, how they do PvP is they usually just go throughout the entire day until people get bored of it. So they're going to be running multiple rounds of this. I have to get out of here in about 2.5 hours to go do my Zeus op, which is a SOG thing, but I'm hoping to cover at least one solid round of this. And if they run it again, I will literally blank my schedule out. I'm not going to lie, I would have canceled today if I didn't have that issue with last week, and I needed to rerun the mission this week's. Because if I canceled it again, then we would have had to bleed halfway into next month on the Monday slot, and I already have other ops bleeding over, and it just wouldn't have fit my schedule. So instead, we just delayed it by an hour. But you see these guys setting up the artillery pieces to tow here. And they're dragging it around, essentially. So they're going to be using D30 batteries for the artillery. Each side also has short-range MK6 mortars to work with. And again, this is going to be exciting. But again, I have a lot of nostalgia here for this, because this is something that, you know, my father wrote to me, and then just by pure chance, I hear through the grapevine that this type of operation is being run. So, Pop, if you're watching, I love you, and I hope you enjoy this. Alright, so they'll probably, I think they're still making their plans here. You're seeing the artillery pieces starting to get towed. We'll probably see 2 or 3 artillery guns utilized at a time for the player bases here. Also, both sides have a UGV that can either do patrols. They're not armed, though, so it'll probably also be for running supplies. But we'll just have to see how all this goes. But again, we got a 10-minute delay, so if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to shoot them in chat, and I will get to them in 10 minutes. But there won't be a prediction for this because I'm going to be honest, it's hard to run a prediction with stream delay, and I have no idea how this is going to play out. So this is just going to be something where we enjoy watching it, because I don't know that much about the players that have shown up. The only thing I really know is about one player named Bror who occasionally plays my ops, and I can't even see him at the moment.
I actually don't think that any drone was shut down.
There he is. So he's on the Op4 side as well. Both sides are going to be at least using UGVs. I think there's also some UAVs in play, but I could be wrong about that too, because they just said drone getting shot down. So I think that's going to be for the reconnaissance teams to utilize to help them check all these positions and see how things go. But Nico, man, thanks for the 12-month resub. I hope you keep enjoying the operations, and I hope you get a nice kick out of this scenario. So we're just going to wait for both sides to deploy, but again, the two instances of actual player versus player I think we're going to see in this game mode are when the hunter-killer teams are deployed to the artillery positions, and then recon positions possibly running into each other. We might see either side try to push artillery deeper into enemy territory, but you also have to understand their resupply points. There's no resupply for them past the purple line. And then, as they mentioned earlier, they're not allowed to steal each other's artillery, because that would be messy. But regardless, if you guys want and do the exclamation point mission command, there's a little 2 or 3 minute video in there that kind of showcases the game mode. So that should also give you a nice brief on what this game mode's going to be about. And again, I'm hoping to cover at least one large round, and we'll go from there. And then I can always teleport in and listen to them locally, but we'll see how things go. Don't touch my tube, and I won't touch your tube. Yeah, they're basically saying they won't steal each other's artillery or mortar positions and use them against each other and just drain all the ammo, because that can be a bit of a dick move. But I kind of like that with PvP. You basically both set up ground rules for each other, and then you go from there. But I think both sides are still getting their safe start warm-up here. We're seeing Blue Force setting up 2 teams. I don't know if those are going to be Recon or Hunter-Killer just yet. We do see that a mortar's been loaded up in one of the teams here, though. I'd imagine for a thing like this, you're probably, if you, let's say, had 4 teams of players to assign, you probably want 1 artillery position, 2 scout positions, and then like 1 Hunter-Killer team to try a fight Op4. And then you just put the Hunter-Killer team in the middle of the map wherever they can cover the most ground and then send them off accordingly. And then scouts you would just put on one side and the other, and then your artillery you would just field. I'm going to be honest, I would put the Hunter-Killer team close to my own artillery in the beginning just to play as static defense in case they're needed. But Artie really needs to shoot a few shots and then immediately think about pulling away. The one issue that you're going to run into, though, is around flight time, because as soon as that round is fired, the enemy commander is going to be able to detect where you're firing from with artillery radar. So the flight time it's going to take, you know, up to a few minutes even for the round to hit. And then, you know, any adjustments made by the scouting teams, that's what's going to be the real killer here, is in those minutes, can the Hunter-Killer team be tasked to go hit the artillery position before the artillery position can then re-tow everything and then start driving away? So that's going to be the real stressful part, is when the artillery shells actually start flying and both sides are able to detect each other. But anyway, guys, I hope you're enjoying your Monday. Today's streams are going to be as follows. We're going to be covering this till about 5 o'clock. 5:30, we're going to be doing a short-scale Vietnam Decon Commando op. That's going to only last us about an hour to 90 minutes tops. And then Bloodway and I are going to do a virtual escape room game that one of our mutual friends, Sparkle, which we sometimes see drop in chat, recommended. And we did a few of it. We did some rounds of it yesterday, and it gave us the exact same 5s as we get from a physical escape room, which means we're going to be yelling at each other a lot. So we'll see how that goes. It's always slightly concerning when you have a tow mod and then the base vehicle starts hopping up and down like this. I have memories of when these mods were more new and they weren't fully bug quashed. a vehicle that was towing would start its engine and then immediately start flying away, or the artillery piece would immediately start flying away, or they'd clip into each other and both explode and then fly away in the blink of an eye. It was good times. They're saying Arma Reforger is going to try to clean up a lot of that so Arma 4 doesn't have it, but I'm going to be honest, the bugs are what makes Arma, in my opinion. Alright, game has started. We're going to see what Op 4 deploys here. We've got potentially 2 scout teams. We have the commander mobile here. We've got 2 artillery pieces on the move, and then 2 field positions. I actually am not 100% sure what those vehicles are for. They could be resupply, though. But I think the trucks are also meant to be resupply. So they could be basically artillery, part of the artillery detection system. But that is what Op 4 is leaving with Blue 4. We got one of their trucks leaving. We've got 3 guns being towed out. We got the commander staying back. And then another team going the opposite way. Quite interesting to see that, but we'll just have to see how everything else goes with that. We got some Vics trying to scale up here. They're going a bit quicker than some of the other ones. But it's game on. And it looks like right off the bat, we might actually see some... okay, it looks like that was a bit of a mistake, and now he's stuck in here. Gotta be careful when you're backing up because the tow might hit him. But yeah, no, the commanders are the sensor operators, or that's actually what might these guys might be. The sensor operators for running the artillery coverage system. So they might only have a limited range, which is why they have to deploy it across so many areas. So you got to get those into enemy lines as well. We see something being taken off here. Looks like it is a drone. So the sensor operators here also have the opportunity to deploy darter drones into the AO. Now, a darter drone with ACE usually only has about 30 minutes of battery life, but it could be possible that they've extended that because these guys basically, you know, edit their own mods too. And I could also have this run, and the hunter-killer teams are these scouting teams right here. And then the scouting teams are also the sensor teams, which can deploy the drones and, you know, drive around and also hunt for enemy artillery. So with that, Op 4, we've got a big screen of forces coming out here. It looks like the artillery is going in 2 separate directions here. So they're really keeping their assets divided here. Whereas Blue 4 is also doing something similar. They have 2 batteries going one way and 1 battery going a different way. Which I guess battery is an improper term at that point, because a battery usually means multiple guns, and then a single gun is, you know, a single gun. So we're just going to have 2 separate guns on 2 separate angles. We also have the short-range mortar positions. Those aren't necessarily designed to hit Op 4 supply depots. I think those are meant for point defense, but I think they can also hit the supply depots there too. So we'll see how things go. Right off the bat, though, this is a potential first point of contention here. Looking at the rest of the map. Nope. Let's cover Georgetown. So Op 4 are holding. We've got 4 guys ready to go. And then Blue 4 is coming up the street over here with, it looks like 4 guys as well. Oh, here we go. They both duck into the same direction. Looks like Op 4 is going to do a full dismount. Blue 4 also opting to do a full dismount. Op 4 spots him first. Blue 4 not in a good spot. They're in the open. All right. First kill. First blood on Blue 4 there. I don't know who in Op 4 delivered that because I'm using the Zeus interface to spectate. We got another Blue 4 uncon right there. Grenades kill the rest of that. But it looks like Op 4 took 1 KIA there. Their auto rifleman as the rest of Op 4 do this wide flank around. But first fight decisively going to Op 4 here as the 200 killer teams clear each other out. You hear him laughing about it. There's a single Blue 4 guy uncon over here. I'm not sure if he's going to wake back up, but he needs to be double tapped. Hold up. Little bit of red on red. But it just shows that level of aggression Op4 might have to be super trigger happy with each other. Let's see if he knows that that's an uncon. He does. He misses the shot, though. Ha! So again, they're not allowed to loot each other's radios, uniforms, weapons, or whatnot. Only bandages and grenades and whatnot. So he bleeds out. And again, that is a decisive victory for Op4 there. But a good open engagement here. Looks like we got another place here. Blue 4 and Op4 running into each other. Op4 is opting to check this position for a supply cache, whereas Blue 4 are just driving up the road with one of their sensory teams. So that's only one guy. That can be a really great thing for Op4 to get if they drive down and find it. That might give them enough time if they just check up here and see that there's nothing important up here, no supply depots. They're going to drive back down and then potentially turn a right, and then they're going to be right into a sensory vehicle here. And knocking that out early on is going to be a great thing for Op4 to do. Here we go. Blue 4 in a lot of trouble early on. There's the vehicle. And that vehicle can outrun it, and it's got a gunner turned out, so they immediately try to get out. That vehicle's going to book it. They need to get back in and pretty much hunt that down. Otherwise, I don't see any other points of contact here. These are both the Op4 groups trying to deploy. Looks like Op4 tried to deploy a drone up here, but it got hit. They're going to try to run it off the road. It goes off the road!
I think I got him.
Yep, they got him. Oh, that was awesome. So he's only unconscious. Oh, no, he's dead. All right, we got the black marker on it. So that's a sensory vehicle down for Blue 4. They're taking a lot of early hits here. Hunter-killer team isn't the worst thing to lose in the world. They got their one guy that died coming back down with the spare Vic. But the sensory Vic is a bit of a problem for Blue 4. But I think we're not going to see any other PvP for a little bit, but we got Blue 4 being the first group in to actually check on where Op4... excuse me, I got that flip-flop. Op4 is being the first group to check on where Blue 4 depots are. And they're already starting to make headway. So I feel like Op4 is in a bit of a better position right now, especially since they stopped one of the hunter-killer teams on Blue 4's side. You've got drones going to either side as well, so both sides are going to start doing reconnaissance on each other here. And it looks like Op4 Command has situated himself up here, which makes sense. I mean, this is a massive communication hub on top of Volcano, so we should have a good level of radio coverage on every side there. And then you got Blue 4's other hunter-killer team set in a blocking position right now. But I think they're going to start sweeping the sectors on the right to try to find those artillery positions. But I think every position or question mark we've gone over so far hasn't had a position on it just yet. It looks like they've sent nobody on foot here to recon these areas out on foot. And I can also say, based off of this action, the fact we got, you know, sensor guys going off on their own, there's only like a, you know, this is like a 15v15 game mode right now. There are lone wolfing. There's no lone wolfing rules, so you're allowed to go off on your own, but he's going to basically be checking these on foot as his guys come down and try to find these other positions here. So once I find an artillery depot, I will verify it for you guys, but again, I don't want to go and check because that might show the enemy where those positions are specifically. So another question mark in here. Don't see anything special. Blue 4 is going to move on. Op4, meanwhile, they've deployed over here, and here we go. So this is what they look like. Op4's found this one. There's no laser-guided rounds, though, so I think he just has that on to range it out. But we're going to see an Op4 battery fire on this position soon. And then they're going to have to walk those rounds in. He's talking, so he's probably telling his guys that. We've got a D30 ready to go by Brewer here. And then we have another artillery battery still being moved, or not battery, another gun. I should be saying guns. It's not batteries. Batteries are multiple guns. So I think that's going to be tasked to Bror to then fire at that marked position. Meanwhile, we have this Op 4 drone crossing around. They're checking for any other positions over here. They're unable to find any. Tow mod's literally RHS towing? That's fair. You're right, it is, because that's their D30 system. But how are you doing, Dawako? But you're right, it still needs a bit of tweaking, I agree, but... Thanks for dropping by, broski. How are you doing? Always a pleasure to see someone like you around, one of the modding and scripting legends out there. Alright, so Blue 4 has an artillery gun in place, but there's a drone coming overhead. So the question is, will they spot this artillery depot, or is it being automated to go in this direction? This is a really nice Blue 4 spot, but looks like they're setting the gun on tow. And these guys have dismounted over here, I think, to regroup, and they're going to possibly split themselves amongst two vehicles. Field gun starting to be ranged. And again, I'm assuming that is for them to strike that one based off of my camera angle here. Yep, it's aligned to hit this gun. We have a drone stopping right here. That could be another position for artillery. But again, as soon as these artillery guns fire, the other side is going to know and try to send hunter-killer teams on the artillery. Blue 4 does have a hunter-killer team close by. If they just follow the MSR, they could be on Bror's position in a few minutes. Look at this cheeky hiding spot, though, that Op 4 has for their sensory team. And they've deployed it, so they have artillery radar now that that's deployed, so that's nice. And you got Blue 4 still towing this gun over here. They're trying to figure out where to put it. They've somehow... How did you manage that one? Hey, Dragon, how you doing, broski? And yep, Dawako's right. I've been able to figure that out since, but basically it's how they utilize the artillery radar. But they have to be deployed. Funny enough, we have a Blue 4 team following this dirt path over here, and it might run into this one Op 4 guy who, I don't think he, okay, he did realize it because he put a bandage on himself, but another spot where they're going to get really close to each other. Not 100% sure they're going to spot that vehicle, though. But I've done so much to know ops. I know what it's like driving down these dirt paths. It's a gigantic pain in the butt. They're going to drive right past him. And they still have the drone going around everything. You got some Blue 4 guys over here. I think they're allowed to go and hit people if they're at the base, but that's not the focus. Meanwhile, these guys have moved on from this position. That is because the artillery shot was solid and they were able to get one. So as far as I know, Blue 4, or excuse me, Op 4 has a point for hitting that position, and now Bror's on the move. So that was a few minutes. But the team over here was still moving. I think that's because the other artillery scanning piece wasn't set. So it looks like they're trying to set it up in here, but I'm going to be honest, if there's something that involves deploying, you probably don't want to do it in the middle of a really thick jungle, because that just leaves it to get armored. So I think the other artillery detection Vic was supposed to be deployed earlier, but since it was intercepted, Op 4 had basically gotten a free kill off of that. So Blue 4 just fired a round of artillery. They're not waiting for the button to not be red because that was a blind shot. So based on where that is angled, it's tough to say where that is landing, because also there'll be wind. We do have an artillery battery over here, though, so that could be possibly what that drone's going for, because it's super high in the sky. It could definitely spot that one position from its area. But yeah, so this is the drone that these guys accidentally deployed. We hear it landing. That's hitting a depot over here, actually. Okay. So yeah, this drone is going to be able to basically, being so high in the sky, is going to be able to spot pretty much everything around it. But we do have another hunter-killer team over here. I'm wondering if it's going to get close to this field gun right here. It looks like it is up in the sky, so it has been firing. So it could be these guys are also just checking other positions for that artillery. Or for the cache positions, excuse me. Or I should be calling them depots. Now this is going to be interesting. We have another part where the team is going to potentially run right into it, and there's trees in the way, so honestly, by the time Roar's right here, that team's going to be right on top of them. Oh, no. Here we go. It's going to be right on that bend, like I predicted. They immediately GL him and take out his wheels. He's a sitting duck. Roar gets out, goes to full auto. Manages to get a hit on one of the gunners. Does he have some grenades to throw? Just put a GL behind the Vic and they'll take him out. They're trying to take out his legs. Ah, and Roar goes down. So that's one field gun knocked out. A great play there. And it looks like the other field gun was also intercepted and taken out, so Opbor doesn't have any field guns anymore. They're gonna have to redeploy them. That's amazing. They just need to take out the wheels and then potentially take out the guns, so Blue 4 might have an opportunity to bounce back now that Opbor is gonna have a bottleneck with no field guns to take out the enemy's position. Looks like the Vics are being destroyed. Oh, that's wild, but you got a hunter-killer team coming up. And then you got a field gun over here being towed. Is Opbor gonna notice? Oh, yes they do. Oh, that driver immediately got smacked. So Blue 4 still has one active gun on the right side. And one active gun on the left, but his vehicle has been flipped. Looks like he flipped it when the gun was being folded. Another drone in the AO, but again, I think that's, oh, it's being tasked to come over here because they might have tracked this vehicle. Oh, and that delay is going to possibly allow time for this artillery mortar to fire at him. Especially since he has a debug issue. But he's back on the mortar. Let's see if this mortar can take out the field gun. But they're back on that gun, I think, because they're scouting for additional things to hit in this area. But I think Blue 4 is going to be able to bounce back with the fact they just took out both field guns within the relatively the same time. By pure luck, mind you. So let's see if he lines up the shot to hit that field gun. A little worried about him firing mortars here, though. I feel like they're going to immediately hit the canopy and he might kill himself, but that's just going to be funny, let's be honest. I'm waiting to see if he's going to shoot it. Yeah, his Vic is still flipped, so he's just reloading it and relying on firing the gun. We see another depot burning in the distance. There's another depot I thought I spotted over here, but I guess I didn't. And Opbor, I mean, they're deploying their guns close from spawn because they need to immediately start putting rounds out again. But yeah, these guys now coming around, checking this depot. Looks like they found this one. This is the one I accidentally showed earlier, but we also saw this crater, which I love that it also is deforming the ground right here. Oh, that's a great mod. Now you hear the Opbor field gun also firing, so I'm wondering if the hunter-kill teams are going to move out and try to find that. Interestingly enough, we've got a field gun over here that could potentially fire, and we've got a hunter-killer team of a single guy, actually, coming to this position here. He's probably not going to hear that engine over his, but we got some near misses. Again, they're not waiting for the buttons.
And didn't go Team 6.
They're not waiting for the button to be white, because when you use the artillery window, when it's red, it means it's still prepping the gun, but people still fire it early when it's not aligned. You get funny things like that. Patriot, thanks for the 34-month resub, my man. I hope you keep enjoying the operations. I do hope you get a nice kick out of this scenario. We're having artillery hit over here. That might be his gun being misaligned, or the artillery is trying to hit this area, but there's no spotters over here, so they don't know if they got it or not. Got the drone up here, spotting this position. They're not going to find anything, but they might see this open door and still hit that position anyway, correctly guessing that there's an enemy up there. They found another cache over here. Blue 4 could bounce back and still win this, though. But yeah, you got Blue 4 moving over to artillery right outside of the main HQ at this point. They're going to track that down and eliminate it very quickly, but that's an example of them finding the RT just based off of hearing it. I'm wondering if KJ is also going to run into something similar, because he's looking around trying to find it because he heard the impact of the gun. But now he's going to be able to see this vehicle drive by. The question is, can he back up, get in his Vic in time, and then correctly track that vehicle, and then try to run it off the road on his own? All right, these guys found this artillery position and have taken it out. You hear it cooking off. So they're going to start moving. And these guys are off a turnaround. I think they're going to take a left. They're being tasked by this drone to go up and hit that position because the artillery might be worried. He's moved it, though, into a slightly more open area. But I think they want the... They want to hunt him down instead. So Blue 4's guns are now all being under threat. Yeah, he hears the Vic. He's trying to fire a GL to stun it. Will it hit? Nope. It's about 40 meters wide. Second shot going in. That one hits the wheels. He's a sit and duck. Third round going in. He's trying to untow the gun. But the gun is... Oh, there it is. Oh, and then he gets GL'd. That's one of Blue 4's guns disabled. You're about to have Op4 getting their revenge here. I'm trying to see if there's any other field guns active right now. There might be another one being towed in. But here we go. Oh, he's too busy trying to realign the mortar here. He's about to get driven up on. Uh-oh. And he gets taken out. So Op4 now knocking out Blue 4's guns, but at the same time, you got Blue 4 getting right on top of Op4's position here. They're just watching him. And I guess they've taken out that gun. I'm trying to look. I'm not sure if...
Ungefähre Position ist eingezeichnet.
Just to check, his buddy might have died on a rock, so he might get teleported in. But we hear that depot getting cooked off right there. They might try to cut him off with this vehicle coming around as well. But Op4 has another field gun. It's currently on the move, though. So he's trying to align the truck up so he can tow the gun. As Flown is basically going to run up and tag him. And you just hit the wrong button, so he's setting it to retow. Flown is going to get a headshot here. Oh! And Run gets knocked out. So let's take a look. Op4 only has one more gun in spawn. Blue 4 also only has one more gun in spawn. So this game mode's wrapping up quick. Both sides, I think, only have 2 more guns remaining, but we see a drone right now actively tracking this remaining field gun position to then coordinate their hunter teams to go and hit them. But right now, I would say Op4 has a slight advantage, but that could change if Nazgul's Vic takes a right. There's 2 people strong in there. They take a right and go up the MSR and find the field gun over here. It looks like he's going off-road to try to hide. I'm curious if we're going to see Op4 remount and try to go for this position. And that field gun is destroyed. You know, if this is meant to respawn with that, I wonder if writing a quick trigger script of, if the truck dies, the RD gun also blows up. But at the same time, that would only be if the RD gun is next to the truck. But at the same time, that RD truck is always going to be with the RDP. So if you blow up the truck, you know, that might be a nice end run around. Because I'm noticing the truck is getting destroyed a lot easier than the actual static. But again, since the truck is towing the static, the truck should never be far away from the static. You know what I mean? So that way both of them can respawn proper. So it looks like these guys, yeah, this texture is notorious if you're going at it at speed. For whatever reason, when you clip from the road to this little dam texture, you might hurt yourself in the vehicle, so. Glad to see they never fixed that one. So I'm curious why these guys are still staying right here. I think they might be trying to figure out a way to destroy this Vic. What's Dresden 2.0, or Dresden 2.0, Pumpkin? I'm unaware of that. We also have some UGVs going around. Looks like, yep, they're trying to use GLs to cook it off. Gotta be careful about the shrapnel damage, though. You want to back up a little bit. That was a miss. I think they're trying to GL the actual turret there, too. The gun. But this artillery position's gold. I'd imagine... There it is cooking off. Blue 4 would have a similar position back here to deploy the radio mast, and then just, you know, leave it here, and then they can utilize that, but... That's an interesting one. So drones right on top of this position. They're gonna untow the gun. Op4, though, quick to remount. They're gonna come around and immediately knock that gun out, which is only gonna leave one more gun in Blue 4's hands. Meanwhile, Blue 4 is sweeping around. We got one gun still at base. They're just leaving it to Bror here, but this hunter-killer team could find that gun soon and move on it. Now, this is interesting. I think this Vic's gonna blow through unless it takes a left. It's gonna blow through before these guys are ready to go, but we'll see what they do. I think they're just gonna go straight, though, because he might want to try to position that mortar closer to depots, and we'll see if these guys try to divide with one Vic following and the one Vic going for the gun, or if they're both gonna continue on the gun. Looks like both are gonna continue on the gun. All right. This is the power of the spotting unit. Yeah, he's out of fuel, so I think these are only 30-minute batteries. But that should really tip you guys off that something's wrong. Because that drone just offed itself. But I think they're too busy ranging the gun, but these guys dismounted really early for some reason. Honestly, you should just rush right in there at this point. You had a drone covering that position. You just gotta go for it, you know? That, I think, is still cooking off. Blue 400 killer team has driven around this area. They did not spot this artillery gun, though. I think they came down this road and hooked around. Which is unfortunate, because I feel like if you were driving down here, you should have been able to spot that. So maybe they just drove up and then turned around immediately. Bit of a misplay by Blue 4's eyes there. Or they might have spotted this and they're going for that position instead. So it's a misplay by Op4 for not rushing in and taking that gun out, because now that gun's going to be able to line up and hit that one cache, and I don't know who has more sides destroyed at this point. It's tough. I'm just going to assume the drone just wasn't able to relay that gun's position, because I have no idea why these guys would be setting up a staging point unless there was this. That's why. They spotted this and they're now stopping to range this shot in. instead of hunting this Vic down. So that's what they were doing. They were focused on that instead. I think Broer shot, and now these guys are going to dismount and come up to it. No way. Ah, no, there's, yep. Broer's in trouble. Broer's in a lot of trouble. He's trying to shoot and scoot. GL's coming up, though. It's short. Broer's making a run for it. He's going to try to hide in some concealment. Oh my god, that's right on him! I think they overranged that shot, that's why. Gets the headshot. They don't know where he is. Vic's cooked off. Oh, and a cook-off round kills Broer! That's gotta suck. But it looks like his one artillery shot landed right on the target. And now I gotta know if these guys hear that artillery piece shooting off, and they're gonna have to go and deal with that. Meanwhile, we got Blue 4 over here. They're ranging the shot for this one piece here. It's neck and neck. Op 4 found another position, but that gun's disabled. They could use the mortar, though. Well, we got one more field gun for Op 4. And I'm curious here, has Blue 4 deployed their final field gun? Nope, that's still at base 2. At this rate, though, I might be able to cover another round, which I will be more than happy to do. Looks like we got some people remounting, though. And they got 2 Vics. They can afford to send half of them over to try to take out a field gun. But if they're driving forward, I'm going to be honest, they should spot this immediately if they drive down this road. The question is, will they? Because they need to knock out Blue 4's other gun, preferably before they range that shot in, but it sounds like it's cooking off. Which means they had to have heard it fire. So I don't get why they're sitting around. They might actually let that Blue 4 guy scoot away. Oh, you gotta be more aggressive here. I get you're trying to get comms here, but it's do or die at this point. I can commend them for trying to keep the comms good, but you gotta stop them from scooting. And they're already starting to scoot. So if they pull down direct southeast, they'll be fine. Op 4 starting to come into scan. UG almost broken weapon in this mode. Yeah, because it lets you tire pop. I think it would be better if you just had an auto rifleman in the gunner seat and then, you know, shoot out the tires or the players, which we've seen as well, which would be really cool. But now the UGL instantly popping tires, man. That's tough. They're going to back right into him. They're going to try to drive. Second vehicle's going to come in to cut him off. GL firing. You guys have a speedier Vic. I guess that's a Blue 4 victory. Yeah.
Das war die erste Runde.
Yep. Blue 4 got all 5 of the caches.
My
That's
round,
why.
the last target were in the air. They were gonna land in 10 seconds.
We just fire the rounds.
Op 4 just fired their rounds too. That's funny. Oh man.
Okay. As always, those that want to prefer a quick debriefing now, type a question mark into the text chat. Those that want to immediately play another round with swapping sides, meaning Op 4 and Blue 4 being swapped, please type a plus into the chat and go for it.
Looks like we're gonna go immediately to another round.
Okay, that is quite clear. So let's
Everyone's
hop back
plussing.
onto the server, swap sides, slot in.
Woohoo!
Now the shit talking may start. Can you check Jonas and give him the correct role? I can.
Quickly before we do the shit talk,
Yeah.
Op 4 that is now Blue 4. Is there anyone else that wants to take command, or should I just take it again?
I think you did a very
Apparently
good
Blue
job.
4 also had a blue on blue incident. That's awesome.
Apparently a 10-second too late job. That was such a close game. Alright, I'll take it again.
KFJ, what was the distance of your long distance underbarrel kill?
200 meter.
That was so sweet. That looked so nice. Fuddle, you died a very, very cool death.
That's reassuring.
Yeah, and it's on camera. Okidok.
Gleiche Frage natürlich bei
What's
Opfer
feeling
der Form
nicely?
halber. Möchte jemand anderes Command ausprobieren? Jetzt, wo ihr wisst, wie es läuft.
Real quick, I'm gonna cover the second round and then I gotta skedaddle, but this has been awesome to see. So thanks for letting me in.
Okidok. Have a nice evening.
Well, I'm gonna cover this round too. I'm just saying,
okay,
after
okay,
this
okay.
round I gotta skedaddle, but this was awesome. Like, this is awesome. If Op 4 just pushed that last gun and was able to disable it, then Op 4 would have won. Like, that's how close
Yeah.
this was.
Yeah, it's always pretty close.
Charlie was on the. Well, we had one of my hunter kill teams driving down the road to go get it.
We need more players in Op 4. Blue 4 is too many people. Liru, and you wouldn't see the task markers on your map, right?
No.
Okay, so I saw you switching to civilian side, and I was worried you might see the markers. Okay.
I was
never
civilian
mind.
because you told me to go invisible.
Ah, that's why.
When you go invisible as
When
Zeus,
you
it
don't see
automatically
the
puts you.
markers, everything is good.
Yep, yep,
I
yep.
don't want those to show up on screen. Okay, is there anyone missing?
He's talking about the actual
sounds
physical
good.
artillery
Before we start,
item markers, not the question marks on the
Blue
map.
4. While we are the best, I don't think we should go hard mode with no sensors. Let's get some sensors. We're not that good at this game.
So we're talking about the sensors here.
Interesting,
and then
ja. Opfer, same thing.
guns.
Ich brauche Sensorleute im
for mortar
Opfer.
teams and then the hunting
Nice.
teams.
Try doing one without any sensors, but kind of defeats. I don't know. I think we should have.
That
some.
would take like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Maybe a
Yeah,
third
right.
or artillery guy on Blue 4. I can swap if someone else wants to do it.
Yeah, Opfer would need one more sensor as well.
I feel you, Dawako. I feel ya.
Okay.
We're happy with 2 sensors on
Especially
Yeah,
with
no,
these.
Blue
it's
4.
2 against
So-
2 for the sensors.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So Ravelli, if you guys wanted to have a full squad, then you're free to hop back up.
Would you rather have a full squad or 3 sensors?
Let's go
What-
we'll go with 2 sensors.
What
Let's go
about
with full
3
squad.
guns?
3 guns is nice. But I'm kind of okay with people sort of playing what they want as long as we have 2 of each of the important stuff.
Well, we lost because we didn't have enough guns last time, so...
That is true.
I'm fine with you guys losing, so...
So wow, there's
don't bother.
Are we good? Can I press start?
Blue Force happy.
Op
No
4
one
as
else is
well.
complaining. Okay, so we spawn in, no initial talk, you take the teleporting flagpoles, and then to the commanders, just tell me when you're ready, and same with 3 times game on before you swarm out. Have fun!
Oh, that's why Dawako's in my chat. He helped make this.
Sorry.
Dear God.
Don't die.
And I get you, Dawako. That's why. I figured it had a full range as well.
Quietly.
That's nice.
Keep to dying to in-game.
Pyrex, something is wrong. What the hell is wrong with the CPR versioning?
My only guess that's our guys downloaded the normal armor launcher, so there might be some.
Your Grud Trenches version is too new for us.
But it only
Too
happens
new.
to the
Too new.
Afi guys. Poor
Too
Afi
new
guys
for the
just
people
dropped
that
because
made
of
the
that.
mod, and you're in the community
Well,
of the people
oh,
that
I
made the
didn't-
mod.
I didn't drop it.
Oh, you didn't drop. Okay, let's.
Yeah.
That's funny. Oh, I'd love seeing this with more players, Dragon, where then they use bait tactics like that to bait hunter teams in the beginning.
The enemy is right there.
Fine.
You got some good footage? Happy so far?
I got at least 90% of the PvP engagements. That was pretty dope.
Surprisingly, they didn't meet at the center of the map, because usually there was just a bit of metagame developed, and that was Tanuka. Usually Tanuka is a graveyard, because people rush there. It's like the north-south axis. It didn't happen this game, or did it?
It only happened at the end. And even then, it was like literally just as the round was ending, so that was kind of funny.
I see.
Oh, just timed out a bunch of people.
Yeah, the version check. But they were here. No one's complaining.
Good.
Are they here in the player squad? Sebastian, they're all there. Okay.
Right.
Okay, good luck, have fun.
Yep, I'm gonna get set up. Alright, so sides have now switched. Op 4 is now Blue 4, Blue 4 is now Op 4. This is nice, because again, when I was handed the document by my father, this was something I envisioned.
If you see errors,
and then I love the fact that there's also scanning equipment, and then there's a whole integration with drones, because when he originally handed me the document, it was more like based for like a Vietnam sort of scenario. But this is like the perfect adaptation for it for modern day, because it's got a good amount of drone warfare to fill the gaps for a smaller player base. And you can just see how quick the PvP is, and even though it was a massive map, I mean, both sides were down to 1 artillery gun by the end of the previous round, so that's awesome. And I believe it's just a random positioning for all of those spots, so anything on the previous round is going to be seen this round. Otherwise, you could just, you know, pull the gun out and artillery those 5 positions, you'd win automatically. But 1 second.
You like unhook it before you turn it into static mode. When you fire it, you drive the fucking over. So you know the cannon like
Just tabbing out to say I wish someone good luck in the op that was texting me in TFAR. And we'll see how these guys go. So Op 4 immediately mounting up with 2 kill teams and 2 mortar teams. I don't see anyone taking the equipment teams just yet. We got 1 gun, but with 2 people for the gun. Interesting. Blue 4, meanwhile, we've got 100 killer team so far, 2 field guns being taken, and then 2 guys ready to go with the radio stuff. We're just waiting to see how the round starts off. All right.
So I'm thinking if we can have you check the...
So I think both sides have a flagpole to teleport in, but again, another way we've seen PvP done in Arma 3, and it seems to work quite well. In that round, I'm gonna be honest, I was never expecting it to be that close. You know what I mean? That's fair. That's fair, Zawako. I find the whole Arma 3 hierarchy of coding to be really funny, because it's basically, we're all just relying on... I'm not going to relate myself to you guys, because you guys are definitely a step above me for coding and all that stuff, because that goes above me. I'm just the mission dev and a Zeus, but you guys literally wait for someone like Deadman Miller to get everything set, because he's like the one on top, and then everything else just trickles in from the base game code. It's wild how all that works. Ah, man. I just Zeus. And then if I have a coding question, I just ask someone smart like Dawako or Krosk or... I try to stay away from that stuff, though, because it just goes above and beyond my head. Let me just make my custom tunnel complexes and SCP bases and complete remakes of maps. I'm content with that. Alright. We'll see what both sides deploy with now. We'll see if there's any fighting in Tanuka, but we'll keep an eye on what groups go where here. But I hope you're all having a wonderful Monday, again, with all of this. How would I put it? We've got the Vietnam up at 5:30, and then after we finish that, I'll take a quick break, and then Bloodway and I are going to do a virtual escape room and probably be at each other's throats because that's just how we are normally. I don't know how I'm going to get her on the microphone, though, to yell at me, but I'll figure something out. I'll have to sync her with an in-game chat or something. Ah, of course they did.
Hat jemand noch Command angefunkt gerade? Sorry, ich hab's verpasst. Okay, ich krieg grad nochmal für die Sensor-Jungs Update. Wartet mal, ich krieg grad die Meldung, dass die Bugs, die da drin sind in dem Mini-Truck.
That's funny. I mean, they're already prevented from using each other's equipment, but I think they're also saying that for the gunners and stuff not to use them. That's funny. Alright, otherwise, Op 4 looks like we're going to have a single mortar team. Still waiting on to see who has the sensor teams. We got one gun team of 2 people. Blue 4, let's see if they've mounted up here. We've got... wow, the hunters are being split up into multiple 2-man teams. And then you got the sensors, and then 2 guns. Interesting. So Blue 4's trying to double down on coverage, but that means if they run into an enemy hunter team, they're going to be outgunned 2-1 at that point. Texting my father right now because he's watching the stream too, of course, you know, with the 10-minute delay, but again, he's the one that originally gave me a document that had all this stuff down years ago, and now I get to finally cover it.
Otherwise, they're not going to have time.
Yeah. I think that's what I like the most about what I do.
You basically got to have a drone already following it, and the mortar's set up, ready to go, and as soon as they stop, you just fire the mortar. Then you can do it. But like otherwise it's very difficult. So
they're talking about using the artillery to, or at least the mortars to try to pinpoint vehicles, which is nice. But that's what's always been interesting about how I've done Arma 3 is stuff that I thought was impossible a few years ago is all possible now. Because, you know, a few years ago, we didn't have Arma Zeus cache. We didn't have instant attachments with Zen. You could only get that with Achilles. We didn't have Deformer. We didn't have things that we now take for granted that if we had them years ago, oh my god, that would have changed the game. But it just goes to show how Arma's constantly evolving and getting better and better. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know what they're gonna take with next, you know? Like, what's the next advancement? And I guess that's more of a Deadman Miller question or a Dewako question or something to go bug Nillers and Leclerc about other than the CDLCs. Like, I don't know where this is going to go, so I'm just gonna focus on all the wild projects that I want to work on now, such as the SCP complexes and whatnot. Working with Karma Cut too. I mean, it's just... there's a lot of cool stuff we can finally do with this game. So, shout out to people like Dewako, Deadman, Bernard, Makoto's over at Gruppe Adler for making all this crazy stuff possible. Because without it, Arma would not be where it is. Good God. All right. Off for deploying here. One gun going. We've got 2 of the detector vehicles going. Got another car going over here and a 4th car going over here. Meanwhile, Blue 4 is deploying with those 4 different hunter-killer teams. 2 radio cars with 1 in reserve, and 2 of their RD guns are going out as well. Very fascinating. Looks like we got a drone already going up in the air. It's going to go scout around on their side, interestingly enough. Otherwise, we got units blitzing down the MSR. But it looks like Blue 4 might not be sending a group down the MSR. They're all going for the flanks, where we've got an Op 4 team immediately blitzing down. And I'm going to be honest, with a 4-man team for the Hunter-Killer team, I can imagine that's what we're going to... Or Op 4 is going to go with that, because they have the confidence to actually blitz down the MSR since they have a full team. Blue 4, though, because they divided their 2 4-man Hunter-Killer teams into 4 2-man Hunter-Killer teams. They definitely don't want to have the head-on engagements with those Hunter-Killer teams that the enemy might have, because they might be at full strength. But with that, Blue 4 is going to basically be able to scan more terrain here, but we might also see Blue 4 find one of their caches and potentially even play defense on it. Reason I'm not tracking the vehicles is I don't want to accidentally show any of the cache positions. So these guys have a mortar loaded. We got Op 4 deploying more drones from the baseline out here. Blue 4 haven't deployed any drones yet, but we're getting a very nice spread. And you can see where some of these field guns are placing here. So Tanuka, Op 4 is now crossing through. They're going to start basically doing recon in the middle, and then we'll sweep them, see them either sweep south or left or right. Based on what we have deploying on the right side, I imagine these guys are then going to sweep left, because this other Hunter-Killer team for scouting is going to come around and start hitting these groups over here. For reconnaissance, at least. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really see a use for the Stompers other than maybe if you armed them and then had them patrolling, but at the same time they would just put those to defend the actual field guns themselves. So I see why they're left as unarmed. We see Op 4 utilizing one today. But Tawako, for the 10 minutes, I'm curious what your thoughts are for what those Stompers were meant to be for in the first place. Tawako's telling Dragon what to cheer for. I love it. So interestingly enough, these guys are setting up a blocking position instead. Yeah, they're just, I guess, trying to bait out any Blue 4 that are going to come through here. But again, Blue 4 is picking all these different flanking plays here as well. So Blue 4 deploying their radio masts here. So this, I mean, that's going to cover a big chunk of range right here. And you got short-range mortars being driven in as well. But Blue 4 also getting forces immediately across, but they're going to hold the bridge here. Maybe from here they can scout. Oh yeah, they'll be able to see if there's a thing right here, but from there, there's not one there, so they're going to have to continue to move on.
6 now.
Amateurish Dragon.
Artillery for the win. High explosive for everyone.
Thanks to the 30-month resub, Broski. I hope you keep enjoying the operations. And I do hope you get a nice kick out of this scenario. He flipped his vehicle. Yep. So, whenever you load something in a vehicle by proxy, it's put like 50 meters under it, but if it's upside down, then it just, you know, puts it in the air instead, or at least the symbol. I've always found that kind of funny. Because the load script is just, it sets the item that's loaded as invisible and then attaches it and holds it like 50 meters below with an attached to instead of an attached to relative command. So this round, though, we're having less PvP in the beginning as more sides are being a bit more cautious with each other. These guys are moving ahead, though. We might see, interestingly enough, these guys are going to opt to drive through the forest here, and they're immediately shown why that's a bad idea. Stealth rock behind the bush, and okay, his engine's fine. I was about to say, did it also knock his engine out? Because that would be pretty funny if it did. Blue 4 opting to keep its two field guns together. Interesting. And then they've got a hunter team on Overwatch covering the Vix themselves. Interesting call.
Yes. I'm curious to see if we can react fast enough.
So even though Blue 4 is divided its forces a lot more, they're playing it a lot more cautiously. But here we go. This is going to be our first point of PvP here. We've got a single mortar gunner driving down and two-man hunter-killer teams driving down as well. But they're making a left. Hold up. Oh! Ho, 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 ho! Op4 is going to be able to get away. This Vic might have taken a wrong turn and turned around, or it successfully went up here and scouted and didn't see a thing up here. Looks like they're going to try to chase that Vic down, but those Vics are going to go at the same speed. That's interesting, though, that these mortar Vics are going to basically be able to pull him away, but if he takes the right to go scout up at that position, nope, he's going to keep driving. So that's going to delay these guys. They should have just sent one team to go and track it down, the other team to continue. But he's going to be able to pull off the road and hide somewhere. And then cut his engine. A little bit of airborneness right there, but yep, get in the low ground right here, cut your engine, and then you're good. That's going to leave Blue 4 on a bit of a wild goose chase over there. Blue 4 dismounted, looking around. I think they're spotting, yes, so we see the artillery landing. They're spotting on, that's a mortar firing. So it is doing damage. And it goes up. So I think that was Run's mortar right here.
Copy.
We might see him quickly move, though. I hear something cooking off. That would be this Blue 4 cache. So both sides have successfully destroyed one cache. Or I guess supply depot on each other's areas here. Op4 abandoning that pursuit, realizing the car they were fighting isn't going to stop to let them engage them. This cache right here is a bust. We have a radio mast right here. You kind of want to take these off the main road a little bit and try to put in a position where it can't be seen from the main road. So from around here, that's a bit tough. Because the only thing that's off the road is all road. So maybe like driving it up here, off the road, take a right, and you get this nice clearing area. You just have to find these clearings on the map. And then go from there and then actually drive there and see if it's a good spot. That's what you basically have to go for if you're playing the detector positions there. Now we've got a 4-man hunter-killer team. We're going to move up this MSR. These Vics are quite well hidden, but the thing is with those 4-man teams is that there's a 2-man team playing defend. No, it's driving away with this other gun, so they're leaving Broer out to dry if he gets run into. But I think these teams are also driving around trying to find these caches themselves. Originally it was without RD computer, but the game mode is too fast without it. Interesting. Why is it faster without artillery computers then? Oh, I think it would be slower, but at the same time, that would keep the gun position static for longer and give more time for the hunter-killer teams to intercept. But I'm going to be honest, we've seen the hunter-killer teams do a great job of just intercepting each other anyway. We just heard a field gun fire. That had to have been Broer. He's firing over here, so it looks like the drone might have found something. Might have found this one position. Funny enough how these two mortar positions are right next to each other. God, I wish I had my tracer script. Because base...
Bravo, 88. 28 seconds, 2-8.
I'm assuming, yeah, so he's firing at that position. If I was this guy, I'd be getting off and going in the direction of those mortars, or at least calling it in. Hunter team's doubling back. Wow, I think Blue 4, they had to have driven up here and then taken this right, and they just didn't look left and see that a vehicle right there. Because otherwise they should have run into it and immediately engaged it. You got this striker right here. Or the Stomper drone, excuse me. Yeah, this drone flying overhead. There was an arty position last time there, though. It's not there anymore. All right, that's cooking off, so that's Op4's second confirmed kill there. And Rund is still carrying that mortar around. He's moving it every so often after he finds it. Op4, meanwhile, on top of... All right, they found another cache position. We could see the artillery fire there. And these guys, looks like they tried to pull the mortar out, but it was destroyed. That's quite unfortunate. But yeah, both sides are finding each other's batteries here. I think he's talking about that. Yep, same guy. His mortar basically got blown up as soon as he pulled it out, because that's been a glitch ever since, I want to say, an RHS update a while ago. They did something and then... That's not an RHS static, though, but I think that's where I first saw it. Was with RHS, but apparently it just happens with any static if you're looking at VIX a certain way and then it pulls the static out. And then I guess before it parses the fact that the thing should be invincible or whatnot, it hits you. Or it just doesn't go invincible, it clips with the VIC and then it blows itself up. So you got Blue Force scouting out an additional 2 caches here. This guy's shooting now.
Bro, would you be advised, need to reposition my mortar and get hitting a tree.
Yeah, they hear each other's mortars. I don't think they realize how close they are to each other, though. Well, this could be a round where we actually see very little to no PvP. It's just both sides engaging each other. But that's a really interesting juxtaposition of, you know, one side was really heavy with the PvP, and then this side... There could be barely any as both sides just bypass each other and go right for the objectives. I'm going to find it funny if Rund keeps moving up to Namasim's position, and then they just end up right next to each other. And that cache has been destroyed. So I think both sides are 2-2. It's hard to say... I think Op4 sweeped all of these, so now they're coming around. And the rest, so all of the Op4's positions are going to be around here. There's a 10-minute delay, and I've gotten a feel for it, so I know... Yeah, they're all... This one, it looks like they've tried to strike and engage, but they've missed. Because the drone's been doing that. So the laser designator you're seeing is a scripted laser guided shell, which we saw them talk about earlier in the chat. There is technically a VR-compatible version of Arma, but it's very framey. Roar's towing another gun. Robert has moved down here, though. Again, this hunter-killer team. They're going to instead take this road down because they're checking on this position, which doesn't have anything, but we have a gun driving around back here. So they might spot him. Tough to say. They could see the dirt kicking up. There's no dirt kicking up anymore, though. It's a big open area right here, though, so Broer is in a little bit of contention here. We'll see where Op4 decides to dismount. Oh, they might... No, they turned to the right last second, because I think they were checking this position. Oh, that was so close. Now, they might actually drive around the field gun positions, though, which is also pretty funny. Again, there's been near misses of PvP or units driving right past each other, and then when they try to move back to pursue, they don't get it, but we've got a field gun back here. Again, Blue 4 right next to this objective because these other positions are right here, but they're not going to check the town. And they're off. They might try to regroup first and then attack it, but that's if the drone actually coordinates that information. And yeah, so these guys are completely driven around the other field guns. That is nuts. Okay, I can't see the scoreboard with the P key. I was just curious to see if anyone's died yet in this scenario. I don't think there's been any... There's been shots on each other, but there hasn't been any actual PvP, but that might change. These guys had to have heard that. And you guys have to hear that car. No freaking way are they gonna bypass that. No, they're gonna drive around and check this street too. There it is. No! There it is. He's getting shot at from the rooftop right there with that guy. Still alive, but that's funny.
Schuss auf Alpha abgefeuert. Wir haben unsere Position Richtung B ist feindliches Hunter-Team. Ende.
That's going to slow down these teams, though, but I think the other teams are busy focused on that. Interesting. So we just had... Oh! There's our first knockout. That was one of the artillery mortar users. Looks like this car dismounted and took him out. Oh, that's Burn. I was about to say, what's that other purple marker? That's the admin being invisible. So he's respawned, so Blue 4 gets first blood. The artillery guns are going south, but you got these guys over there. That's funny. Those guys are still ranging that shot. Oh, looks like this guy's mortar was destroyed when he tried to load it. And you got Blue 4 slowly creeping in. Looks like they put GLs on this position. Op 4 is staying hunkered down. Yeah, suppress that because your bullets will go through that position. He got hit. The other guy had to bandage. He's now moving up. I'm surprised this other Vic isn't coming down to assist. They're just staying on the ridge. And we just had that cache finally get destroyed. It looks like a drone also crash landed there. Yeah, the mortar is, it seems to be a superior option to the D30 especially. Checking the rest of the map. Grenades. Didn't take any damage. I don't see any blood. Based on the shooting, he might have just blue on blued his own guy. Oof. All right. Call Me goes, gets knocked out. These guys aren't going to have a way to fix this position, but if they deal with the threat, then there's not really a need to fix the position, unless Blue 4 does the absolutely awesome thing of just putting artillery on that position. Look at this. We got a field gun right here and then a mortar position right here. I mean, they're literally within a breath's reach of each other, but the tiniest of terrain is stopping them from seeing each other. That's how tense this round is. So it's just up to nobody here. He found this stairwell, might use it to get up to this guy's position. I think he's trying to call locally to his buddy. These guys are now scouting that op 4 position. They're putting more GLs on it. I think he's just going for trying to destroy the gun so he can get away. I'm waiting to see it. GLs, man. Oh. I'm gonna assume that was a disconnect because I don't see a dead body symbol and I don't see how Op 4 could have sniped him. That's unfortunate. And it looks like the Vic finally blew up. It blew up parts of the building here. And that killed him. So without that to reload the gun, that mission's technically successful. And they're still having this laze. Look, it sounds like they're utilizing mortars to hit it because the one field gun they took out is, you know, being disabled. Looks like the other field gun, they've towed this out. They have it just to the north of their spawn point. They're now trying to fire that in. With already computer the game modes. Okay, so I misread you, Dewako. My bad. That's what I figured, though. Like, with the already computer, I felt like the game would be faster. Gotcha, gotcha. Thanks for clarifying. I'm assuming the rest of the battery, or the rest of the depots are over here, unless Blueform missed one somewhere, but I feel like in their scanning routes, they've successfully found everything so far. Multiple drones going overhead. You still got this one piece of arty radar. That's it. So Op4 might have won because that was the potentially last cache for them to hit. So I think Blue4 just got slowed down in that one PvP fight over here.
Se oli nopea.
Op4 won that.
So.
Op4.
Yeah, Blue. Yeah,
Second
Op4.
round always plays quicker than the first round. Straight
awesome.
away, I saw Op4 trying to lace 2 targets at the same time. The laser seekers have a very wide opening angle. I can imagine that you fuck up your laser guided shells with having 2 targets visible at the same time. Just so that you know if you had troubles with the laser guided shell at the end. Okay, we start debriefing from bottom to top. So Turwell, tell us what you think. You don't have to, you can just say skip.
I guess that's a skip.
Revelli, do you want to say something?
Yes, sir. Only bug we saw, we had one instance of kind of the uniform disappearing, or people couldn't see it on me. But hey, whatever, didn't cause any issues in the game, except me just running around naked. Yeah, game mode was faster than I expected. Yeah, I had a good time. I'll think about something wiser to say in a moment, so we can proceed with the debrief.
Liru, you still here?
Yep, I agree. That game mode went a lot faster than I thought, but definitely the Arty computer and the custom scripted laser shells sped it up. It was interesting to see the juxtaposition between the 2 rounds. The first one being a lot more PvP heavy, and the second one, people were getting within sight range of each other, but just at the last second, something would get in the way, or they'd make a different turn, and it would get super close at times. But I encourage you guys to watch the VOD back just to see how close some of you got. But I think I got at least 90% of the firefights. Thank you so much for having me, and let me know if you run this again, because I'd love to stick around and cover more of it.
Sure. Can you paste the VOD link down here maybe so that people find it?
Yep.
Jonas.
Yeah, unfortunately, I missed the first round because of not starting downloading the mods early enough. But yeah, it was fun game mode compared to the ones that we are more used to in AFI. Yeah, I have had lots of fun and will definitely come again. I guess we also got a little bit lucky that three out of I think 5 or 6 boxes were basically grouped to our end of the map.
Well, it was unlucky because it was in the range that it was too far for our 2 charges, or a full charge, and too far for our lower charge amount, so our artillery couldn't fire. That's why we lost.
Oh god.
Because we had to move, all of our howitzers had to move like 2.5.
They have a dead zone, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So you got the full charge, which is super long, but then you're in the minimum range, and then it's the reduced charge is the next one. But yeah, it was in the dead zone that we couldn't shoot.
So it didn't have the medium charge.
Wait, you didn't have quarter charges?
No, it's 1 through 4, which were far too long range to shoot at the northern targets. Then you got reduced charge, and which I was trying to get. And you got the full charge, which like covers the whole map, but the minimum engagement range is so long that it was like outside of the game area.
Let's give him a warm welcome, shall we?
Okay.
Who's next? Pyrex.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the interesting evening and experience. The first game I was with the sensor array, it was an interesting mechanic to use and report of the enemy artillery usage. The second time we were with 3 of the AFI members at Bravo Hunter Killer team. As Jonas said, we had luck with the three of the targets being inside basically 5 minutes from each other, and within was its artillery 3's engagement range.
Here, I'll go ahead.
But yeah, thanks for the interesting evening, and hopefully we can come again. Thank you.
Thank you for your environment. It was fun for me as a hunter killer. We don't see so much from the others. The second round was very fast. Maybe we can play a third round. It's early in the evening. Next.
Wolfenstein? No? Schmerzkeks?
Yeah, hello. Thanks for the invitation. First, for me, this game mode, first game, and overall it was fun. But in the end, I'm driving. I don't know. We had actually only one real enemy contact or battle. Yeah, I don't know. I think I have to play a few rounds more to say more, but I think, or I hope, I get more battles and not only driving over the map all time. Yeah. But thanks a lot, and have a nice evening, guys.
Who's next? Robert or Pio?
Yeah, I think it's me. Thanks for the invitation. First time in the game mode. It was pretty fun. I like it a lot, and we got a pretty good team. Even if we lost both rounds, but it was fun all time for my case. So thanks, and I would just say next.
Okay, hello. First of all, thanks for the invitation. It's a funny game mode, for sure, but I think it needs a lot of balancing because I think a way too fast hits the nail for this game mode. But nevertheless, it was fun and I enjoyed it. Next.
That would be me. I was command for my side. I think some of the bugs we encountered, I think were mentioned. We did have once or twice again happen with the mortar piece getting destroyed by the vehicle. And I don't know whether that problem we have with the ranging with the guns, whether that's intentional, like just part of the weapon, or whether some rounds have been removed. So I'll leave that as is. For my end, I had fun. I think people did well. We had a lot of new guys this time around, and it's always going to be a bit different. And just like last time we played this, the first round was a longer round, but there was a lot more driving around and poking at each other and hunting each other artillery. While the second round just almost became a rush, and it just finishes at like a third of the time as the first round. It happened the same last time around as well. I'm not quite sure what causes that, whether people just play more aggressively for the objectives in the second match or not. But we'll see whether it's a trend in games going forward.
Mm-hmm.
In general, though, I have fun. I'll write some feedback in the form later on, but in general, I think it was good. My side did good. We made some mistakes, but you know, we're new at it and it happens and stuff like that. But the first game was super close, and the second game, you know, we just needed to get our guys in range, and then we could have got that too. So like, the games are that way quite balanced because both games were very close. They could have gone either way. I mean, the first game was a 10-second difference between victory or defeat for us. So that feels good. That feels really good. I do understand to some degree that those complaints from hunter killer teams that it can be a big mix. Some rounds.
I hate to cut them off. I'm gonna stop the stream here, just because by the time Twitch finishes, it'll be the top of the hour, and I gotta start setting up for Nam. So thank you so much for jumping in and watching this, guy. Shout out to Dawako. Always a pleasure to have you on, sir. And shout out to my pop because I know he was watching too. But otherwise, cheers, guys. Have a good one. Go operate operationally. Next stream will be in about, I want to say, an hour to an hour and a half, just a quick nom op, and then we'll have something off the rocker after that. But anyways, cheers, guys. Have a good one. Go operate operationally.